Hello, everyone, and welcome to this episode of Ignition Time. Now, there are some episodes that I make that sometimes I scratch my head when making these episodes. We live in the United States of America, and we have the Senate Minority Leader, Mitch McConnell, saying this about two members of his own party. He said there's no place, I repeat, no place in the Republican Party for white supremacists. Yes, you heard that right, for white supremacists and white nationalists. The Senate Minority Leader, Mitch McConnell, who, by the way, is a Republican from Kentucky, spoke out against Congresswoman Marjorie Taylor Greene, who's a Republican from Georgia, and Paul Gosar, a Republican from Arizona, because they made a recent appearance at a white nationalist event. Yes, you heard that right. They made a recent appearance at a white nationalist event. And he said in a statement, I quote, "There's no place in the Republican Party for white supremacists or anti-Semitism." So what happened? Over the weekend, Greene and Gosar addressed the America First Political Action Committee's conference, which is a white nationalist gathering organized by Nick Fuentes, who has been labeled a white supremacist by the Justice Department. Here is an article on your screen from The Guardian. Calls to actually expel Congresswoman Marjorie Taylor Greene after a speech at a white nationalist event. Think about that for a second. Pretty incredible. This event in Orlando, Florida, actually took place on Friday night over the weekend, and it was organized by the far-right extremist Nick Fuentes, who actually told attendees, now they're going on about Russia and Vladimir Putin is Hitler. They say that's not a good thing. He actually started laughing and said, I shouldn't have said that. And this is, I can't even believe I'm saying this. Liz Cheney, who's a member of the House Select Committee investigating the January 6th riot, she tweeted, as Congresswoman Marjorie Taylor Greene and Congressman Paul Gosar speak at this white supremacist, anti-Semitic, pro-Putin event, silence by Republican Party leaders is deafening and enabling. All Americans should renounce this garbage and reject the Putin wing of the Republican Party right now. In fact, Amar Musa, who's a spokesperson for the Democratic National Committee, said this, in any other world, Greene speaking at a white supremacist conference where attendees have defended Vladimir Putin and praised Adolf Hitler would warrant expulsion from the caucus, to say nothing of her advocacy for violence and consistent anti-Semitism is disgusting. Quite simply, the longer Kevin McCarthy gives Marjorie Taylor Greene an unfettered platform and promises to elevate her, the more complicit he is. And on Saturday, Greene actually defended her appearance at this conference, and she told CBS News, I went to talk to them about America First policies, and I talked to them about what's important for our country going forward. She also said this, now in regards to Russia, Putin is a murderer and he should never have invaded Ukraine. What he is doing is completely wrong. I stand with our NATO member allies and I'm completely against this war. Everything that he's doing is wrong. He's killing people over and over, so I'm staunchly against it, and I'm staunchly against Vladimir Putin and his invasion of Ukraine. And she was asked if she endorses what Fuentes said, and she said, I don't know what his views are. And then when she was told that he's a white nationalist, she said, I do not endorse those views. Well, folks, I want to know what you think in the comment section below. Let me know what you think of Marjorie Taylor Greene and Paul Gosar actually speaking at a white nationalist gathering organized by Nick Fuentes. Now, I want you to know that many Republicans have condemned both Greene and Gosar, and Senator Mitt Romney, who, by the way, is a prominent Republican from Utah, former presidential candidate, he actually addressed the issue during an appearance on CNN State of the Union. He said he was reminded of that old line from the Butch Cassidy and the Sundance Kid movie where one character says, morons. I've got morons on my team. Folks, I want you to know that it's hard for me to believe that some members of the Republican Party would actually speak at events like this. Now, I have to be honest with you, some of the comments she made clarifying her attendance at the event was, did seem to make sense. But Marjorie Taylor Greene has a long history of saying some really weird stuff and doing some really weird things. She's been eliminated from certain committees. And remember, these individuals, these congresswomen, they make well over six-figure salaries, and they should be contributing to the good of the American people, not creating controversy, not speaking at white nationalist, white supremacist events, or even associating themselves with individuals who are known white nationalists and white supremacists. Because at the end of the day, I believe we are all American. We want what's best for the country, regardless of the color of our skin. You've heard me say this before, and I'll say it again. I'm American. I'm not Democrat. I'm not Republican. I'm American first. In fact, I think that both sides Democrats and Republicans say and do some really weird things, and my goal is to bring you the truth wherever the truth might lead us. My goal is to actually tell you what's going on in the country, the economy, as well as our money. And I think Marjorie Taylor Greene and Paul Gosar should not have been speaking at this event, and I think it was right that the Senate Minority Leader Mitch McConnell actually called them out, along with Liz Cheney, the Republican from Wyoming, and the prominent Republican Senator Mitt Romney from the great state of Utah. Let me know whether Marjorie Taylor Greene's comments clarifying her attendance made sense to you, or whether you think she's absolutely cuckoo and absolutely bananas. Again, she has a long history of saying some really weird stuff, and I have covered that elsewhere on our channel. She has done some incredible, unbelievable things, like referring to certain Muslim members in Congress as jihadists, and she has said some really strange stuff about her vaccination status and about the vaccine and about whether vaccines work or not. She's definitely, in my mind, a troublemaker, and she's definitely someone who's always putting her foot in her mouth whenever she speaks. I, for one, can't understand why she was even elected to begin with. Let's see if she gets re-elected. But the funny thing in Congress and with the news is that notoriety, being in the news, saying controversial stuff, used to be something that politicians wouldn't do, used to be something that they shied away from. But I think ever since the former President Donald Trump entered the White House, the notoriety, saying explosive things, saying controversial things, saying things that are highly divisive, doing things that are highly divisive, now is a badge of honor for some of our elected officials, for some politicians. I don't think it should be that way. I think our elected officials should try and unite us as opposed to divide us. But hey, I'm a journalist, I'm a fellow citizen, and I can only, like you, scratch my head sometimes and go, what were they thinking? Let me know what you think in the comment section below. Please click like, please click subscribe, please enable notifications. My name is Dr. Nitin Chhoda with Ignition Time. This right here is a little bit of information about me. Check out my video. You'll learn how I have the fortune, the honor, the privilege of living the American dream, and how I was able to overcome the cycle of poverty that you see on your screen. Please click like, please click subscribe, please enable notifications. Also follow me on Twitter. This right here is my Twitter feed. My Twitter handle is ignition_time. That's ignition_time. Thank you so much. I'm looking forward to seeing you in the next episode of Ignition Time. Take care. Bye.